This 17 News at Noon podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Noon podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Good day, I'm Chris Burton in for Elena Rusk. One person is dead after a crash this morning on South Union Avenue. It happened near BBQ Road at about 6:30 this morning. A California Highway Patrol spokesperson said the driver was speeding when he lost control, sideswiped a power pole, and crashed into a tree. He died at the scene. That driver has only been identified as an 18-year-old man from Bakersfield. A passenger in the car was injured in the crash. They were transported to a local hospital with injuries not believed to be life-threatening. It's still unknown whether alcohol or drugs were factors in this crash. And a tragic end this morning to a massive search for a kidnapped family from Merced. Authorities say they found the family dead last night. Deputies have been desperately searching for the family since Monday, but at last night, the bodies of two parents, their 8-month-old baby, and an uncle were found. They were discovered by a farm worker in a rural orchard outside Merced.
I'm sorry to deliver the news. We were praying for obviously a better ending, and this is not it. But we now know what the circumstances are, and we know now how to focus our investigation, and that's where we're going to take it.
Authorities say the family was last seen on surveillance video when they were kidnapped by a man armed with a gun and forced into a truck. Deputies say one suspect attempted to take his own life before authorities arrested him. That man, identified as Jesus Salgado, is in custody and recovering in a local hospital. Merced County's sheriff said this morning the office believes a second suspect is still at large.
I'll tell you, like I told everybody else, if the person's watching, might as well turn yourself in.
Authorities say there were no ransom demands or contact with officials before the bodies were discovered. In your 17 Court Watch today, the two men accused of shooting and killing 5-year-old Kason Guyton will face a judge ahead of their scheduled trial. Jonathan Knight and Jeremy King were arrested in 2017 for allegedly killing the young boy. Guyton was in the back seat of his mom's boyfriend's car on the way home from the movies when he was shot. His 7-year-old brother was also shot and survived. Police believe the boyfriend, a suspected gang member, was the target. Knight and King are appearing in court today ahead of their trial set for later this month. And in the wake of Hurricane Ian, President Biden and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis put politics aside while touring the disaster zone in Florida together in a show of unity. The death toll is now at 130 people and counting. There are some 80,000 structures that search and rescue operations have had to go through. President Biden expanded the amount of time the federal government is going to be footing the bill from 30 days to 60 days to pay for all debris removal, all search and rescue operations, emergency elements including food and sheltering. For more than a year, 17 News has been sounding the alarm about fentanyl in our community, and our local leaders are expressing concern about the illicit drug and its deadly impact. Law enforcement and school officials discussed the issue and what it looks like here in Kern County, and police are warning about rainbow fentanyl, a new form of the deadly drug specifically targeted at kids. We asked county school officials if children were allowed to bring naloxone, the generic name for Narcan and other overdose reversal nasal sprays, to campus. Officials say it's up to individual schools, but as of now, North High is the only school allowing kids to carry naloxone on campus. Now, fentanyl has taken a center role in Congressman McCarthy's political messaging, pitching voters on why the GOP should control the House. We asked McCarthy what concrete legislation on the issue he could commit to getting through both chambers of Congress and signed by the president.
If we are fortunate to take the majority, the first thing we'll do is secure our border. No matter who you spoke to, no matter what law enforcement agency it was, from the CHP to the DEA to the Homeland to the county sheriff to the city police, it's coming across our southern border. It is starting in China.
McCarthy mentioned legislation to make fentanyl a Schedule I drug, which designates the substance as having no accepted medical use and enhancing the overtime hours for law enforcement working on drug cases. Well, 17 News is your local election headquarters, and 17 News is holding another debate ahead of the midterm election, and this one is hotly contested. Tune in to KGET at 7 Wednesday night, October 12th, to hear from the candidates running for the 22nd Congressional District, Rudy Salas and David Valadao. Now, political ads for this race have been dominating our screens with a spotlight on one of the nation's most closely watched races right here in the Central Valley. If you have a question you want us to ask during the live debate next week, send us an email to 17news@kget.com and type "question for the candidates" in the subject line. We'll do our best to answer all of your questions.
Hello, this is Tim Callahan with Clinica Sierra Vista, and we're excited to unveil the Community Health Center of the Future, our comprehensive care center. It's located right across the street from Memorial Hospital. We have every service under one roof, from family medicine, OBGYN care, dental services for adults and children, behavioral health, and much more. So find your way to better care at Clinica Sierra Vista this year at our comprehensive care center. Visit our website, clinicasierravista.org, for the latest on this project. We'll see you soon.
Well, as high as they are, gas prices are about to get even higher. 17's Michaela Armstrong has more on the big changes coming to the oil industry and how it could be affecting your wallet the next time you head to the pump.
Increases at the pump could be looming after OPEC announced Wednesday it will cut oil production by 2 million barrels a day. It's the biggest cut in production since the start of the pandemic. The cut threatens to push gasoline prices higher just weeks before U.S. midterm elections. But Associate Professor of Economics Dr. Richard Gerhardt says that isn't all.
Oil prices are going to increase, which means gas and other fuel prices are going to increase, which means food prices are going to increase. We're just going to see continued inflationary pressures.
Researchers expect global oil prices to rise from about $93 to $100 per barrel, with U.S. benchmark prices rising from $88 to $92. Gerhardt says California residents could see it the worst.
I would expect gas prices to remain in the $6 range with all of the moving parts and pieces, which is not welcome news in an environment where prices for everything have been increasing.
But Gerhardt says local oil producers are going to benefit from this change.
Local producers might actually expand oil production, take advantage, and fill this gap.
Yet for residents, Gerhardt says the result will be felt by those at gas pumps for coming weeks.
The Bakersfield City Council has approved an ambitious plan to provide greater access to low-cost broadband internet service within the city limits. The council approved an agreement with Sci-Fi Networks to build a fiber optic network using micro-trenching technology at no cost to the city. The open access network will be built with the option to connect all city facilities, homes, and businesses within Bakersfield. It's an effort to reach underserved communities. Under the 30-year agreement, Sci-Fi Networks will invest $300 million. A similar proposal has also been presented to the County of Kern. And here at home, we are just over a week away from the departure of the 45th Honor Flight. The organization honored flyers past and present at a special breakfast this morning. The program allows veterans from all eras to fly free to Washington to receive honors for their service and see their war memorials. Today's breakfast at Elks Lodge number 266 helped to raise funds that will go to support those veterans' flights. Honor Flight 45 departs Tuesday, October 18th, and its honored veterans will receive a hero's welcome when they return on Thursday, October 20th. This morning, Meadows Field welcomed bigger planes to our local airport. American Airlines is upsizing their morning and midday flights from a CRJ 900 to their Airbus 319. The company says the larger aircraft will increase comfort, including first-class seating with added amenities like Wi-Fi and air conditioning. Each flight between Bakersfield and Dallas-Fort Worth will provide an additional 50 seats for passengers, increasing Meadowfield's departing seating by 3,000 a month. Officials say the upgraded service will bolster local job opportunities at one of the largest companies in the world. Meantime, down at LAX, a renovated Delta Terminal opens today. The $2 billion project features 9 new gates, more seating areas, and upgraded lobbies. The facility is the second phase of a joint project between LAX and Delta that first started in April. Delta says the new terminal came 18 months ahead of schedule, and the airline is expected to complete the Delta Skyway project by next year. The last phase will combine the T1 and T2 terminals together, which will eliminate the need to take a bus between them. And let's take a look now at the latest COVID-19 case numbers here locally. Kern County Public Health updating their COVID dashboard today to reflect 1,561 new positive cases and 7 new deaths. State data shows we have 28 patients hospitalized with the virus here in Kern. 8 are listed in intensive care units. TV17 is partnering with the Open Door Network once again for a barbecue fundraiser at Compassion Corner. The barbecue is held every October in honor of Domestic Survivors Awareness Month. The funds will go toward supporting services and local programs for survivors here at home. For $10, you'll get a cheeseburger, chips, a drink, and a cookie. The barbecue will be happening from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. next Wednesday. That's Wednesday, October 12th, outside our studios at 22nd and L Streets in downtown Bakersfield, and we hope to see you there.
The 17 News at Noon podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.